Share screen and press play. All right. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. It is what I forgot what day. It's the 17th. So 2 weeks left in the month, in the year. And today, Debbie and I are going to talk about real estate acronyms, right? And
Yeah.
texting slang,
Yeah.
So we'll just jump right into it. All right, Deb.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a fun, but things that we actually need to know what the abbreviations are. So those are your acronyms, right? And I have a few of them on here because there's also agents who might be watching this who don't do a lot of texting. If you're an elder agent, maybe you don't do a lot of texting, so you kind of need to know what some of these things mean. But of course, if you know someone who's in the younger generation, you could always ask them. But as far as real estate terms go, we need to know what our abbreviations are so we know what people are talking about. So that's kind of where I came up with this thing. I thought it would be kind of a cool end of the year thing to do. Um,
Yep, exactly. And the funny thing is, and I'm sure you get this a lot too. I have agents, at least once or twice a week, I have an agent texting me, "Hey, I have this other agent that's texting me this. What does this
with
mean?" I
mean,
don't
yeah,
want.
that's exactly where I'm going with this.
All
Yep.
right, exactly. So,
Yeah. So if you go back to the other screen, of
oh, I'm sorry.
course, for sale by owner is the most popular one, but that's an acronym, right? Because that's where that came from. I don't know is texting slang. So IDK is I don't know. Um, so there's different ways to look at these things. And something that I suggest everybody do is if you just Google text slang, you can get a list of acronyms that like there were some on there that I didn't even know what they were because things come out new all the time when people start abbreviating. But you need to know this because especially if you're working with a younger person who is wants to reach out to you through text messages or even in an email and they put those acronyms in there, you got to know what they're talking about, right? So
Exactly.
LOI is a big one that a lot of agents don't understand what that means, and that means letter of intent. So usually you're doing an LOI when you're working with commercial properties, right, Tony?
Right.
Because that's your letter of intent that you give to the commercial seller side. And more likely than not, a real estate attorney is going to prepare the contract. So instead of having your purchase agreement, you give them a letter of intent. ROI is similar, but that's return on investment. So when you're dealing with investors, they are going to ask you for what's the ROI on this property. They want to know what their return on investment is going to be after certain things. So there's a couple right there that you might not even know what they mean. And now I told you. POS is another one that could go two different ways. So if you
Right.
look to the right hand side, it's text slang for parent over your shoulder. And if you see that in your text slang from someone, it just means someone else is butting into the conversation or watching what is happening, right? So that's kind of what that means. But then in the real estate terms, it's point of sale. And then I have like a little picture of what the point of sale would actually look
Mhm.
like down there. HOA would be Homeowners Association. So that's another real estate acronym. GFE, that's a good one. That's your good faith estimate. So also TIL would also be involved with that, your truth in lending. So make sure you're paying attention to what your terms mean so that when people are talking to you, you understand. SMH, shaking my head. That's a texting slang that I thought was really funny, but it's true, right? Because if you don't want to let people know that you're like, I don't even understand what they're saying kind of thing, that's shaking your head. You just put SMH in there. IMO would be text slang for in my opinion, right? So here's a few things that'll help you with that, right?
The funny thing is, a couple months ago, I was talking to one of my daughters about this because she was doing voice to text and using slang and acronyms. And I felt really old. I go, the whole point of acronyms and slang to me is to, when you're typing, you could go faster and you don't have to type as much and it's condensed. But if you're doing voice to text, why are you still using acronyms and in that? I'm like, what's the point? You're talking, just it's not saving any time. You might as well type it out, and so even so what I learned or I thought of is that these acronyms and slang are becoming words, right? I mean, they're using them in place of these words, not just to save time, you know? So I never even thought of that, but some people do it, and I think a younger generation are doing it. It's like they will use these terms. It's not they will write it, they will text it, they will say it. They say it. They don't even be, I've heard my daughter say many times BRB. I'm like saying it to me. I'm like, be right back. I'm like, no, it's not. So it's becoming words. So I don't think a lot of us in our certain generations are thinking this is like, why do I have to learn some of these acronyms sometimes or slang? Because it's not just going to be in a text or an email. They might verbally say it to you because it's turned into words, not just a way to condense. Does that make sense?
It definitely does, and that's where I was going with all of this.
If
So
I
not
jumped
only
ahead,
do
I'm
we have
sorry.
the real estate acronyms, but we also have to know what they're saying, right?
Right.
Because a lot of them are going to say it with the letters, which I don't get that either, but that's because we're old and they're young. But we still, if we want to be able to talk to those people and help them buy houses and stuff, we need to know what they're talking about, right? So I
Exactly.
don't think I have BRB on here, but I was thinking about doing it. I don't know. Did I?
Might
Oh, no,
not,
I
but
didn't. I
it's
didn't. I didn't
BRB,
put it
be
on
right
here.
back.
Yeah, be right back. That's another one. CMA is an acronym that every single real estate agent needs to know what it means. It's your comparable market analysis, right? So you need to know what that means when people are asking you, did you prepare the CMA? Or I sent you a CMA. Oh, and by the way, what I also meant to say was, even though these are good real estate acronyms and stuff, don't forget when you're talking to the public, they don't know what this is. Right? So make sure that if you're saying, "Oh, I sent you a CMA," say it. I sent you
Right.
a comparable market analysis because they won't know what a CMA is. Okay, so E&O is another one for you real estate agents, right? That's your errors and omissions insurance. That's a real estate acronym. NVM is never mind. So if you get that in a text, you know that they don't just forget that, right? How about fear of missing out? That's one that you might see from a buyer all the time. Well, we have FOMO. We need to go see this house. We need to make sure that we're getting all the updated listings and stuff, right? Fear of missing out. TBH is to be honest. So you might be sending something and you might get a reply from the other side that says, TBH, I don't think that the seller is going to accept that offer or something like that. That's what that means, to be honest. And then FTW is for the win. I thought that was appropriate because we want to have the win all the time when we're doing real estate. So, um, just a few little things to perk your interest. And like I said, you can always look it up. I'll tell you another good place to find out all of these things, whether they're real estate acronyms or whether they're texting slang, is Chat GPT. Because I did go on there and ask them for a bunch of them too to see what they would come up with. And they came up with a couple good lists of things. So
Right.
you can always search it. Now, I know that December 16th was yesterday, but everybody loves chocolate. So you can always do this, and you don't have to do it just for National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. But did you know chocolate increases endorphins, just like finding a perfect home? Celebrate today with a house tour and some chocolate. I mean, it's a great way to start a conversation on your social media and get people's minds going because chocolate is everywhere during the holidays, right? So
Right.
let's keep them interested in real estate while we're spending our holidays with our families and such. Um, we got a couple. Hash gave us a couple classes for January and February. We don't have anything for Mike yet, but I'm sure he's working on his schedule. And also just a reminder that the global network, the C21 global network is replacing the workplace on 21 online. So the C21 global network is where you actually are going to go now to your Facebook. It'll be a little tab on your Facebook once you sign up for it with your credentials for Century 21. That's the only way you can get in. So if you're not with Century 21, you might want to join us so that you can join all the fun. But you are going to find all of your tips and tricks from corporate and also any fun classes that they're doing. They do some online classes with people, so it doesn't matter if we're located in Ohio or Texas or Arizona or California or New York. They have a lot of fun things that everybody can participate in for learning things, and then they challenge you with different contests and stuff. So it's pretty
Okay.
cool. You
Good
can find a
stuff.
lot of information on there.
Good stuff. And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
There
that's
we
it for
go. A
this
nice
week. Just
quick
a
one
short
for
little
this week.
fast one. Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Remember, reach out to Debbie or myself. We'll get you on our calendar. If you need to talk to me, tonytalk.net, and to pick a time, all my calendar's on there. And but of course, for emergencies, you call or text us, either of us ASAP, if you're
Yeah,
working on something right now. If you have
there you
something you
go.
just want to discuss, email us or text the office text line saying, hey, when you get a chance within the next few days. Debbie and I like to prioritize our calls, and we love to talk to all of you. But if it's something that you want to schedule time and wait, something you're planning on next year or something like that, we'll schedule that ahead of time. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and hope to talk to many of you very soon.
Bye
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 bye.
now.